Hey everybody, welcome to Visual Communication and Media. My name is Adam Rozeski. It's a pleasure to see each and every one of you. Happy evening for Friday. I hope everybody's doing very well. Just to give everybody a heads up, all week 2 grades are done. I had most of them done on Thursday, just had a couple last minute ones I wanted to get finished on Friday, so everything is fully updated. Other than that, if you have any questions about it or any feedback or anything that you would like to do, or please let me know if you'd like to upgrade your grade or fix it from the feedback and get a better grade. Just let me know and send me a message when you do. Then I will update the grade for you. Other than that, let's get into this. So just a couple announcements. You got your reply post for your discussion due tomorrow evening, and then keep in mind you have your week 3 assignment and your live lecture assignments due on Sunday. Keep in mind, running into this a couple times, but 1 to 2 sentences, what you learned about the lecture, and if you had any feedback overall, that would be great, but I'd like to see at least 1 to 2 sentences on what you learned specifically from the lecture about visual communication. Other than that, let's get into it. So we're finishing our trip into semiotics and also with perceptual communication. We talked a lot about symbols, icons, signs, and how those chains of associations are tied to each one of those. Today we're going to talk about logos and their importance and how you can find ways to talk about it and really get how logos are created in a lot of different ways and different types of logos. That's what we're going to talk about. This is going to help you out with your assignment this week. Also, if you want to take a look at an example on the assignment, it is in the lecture slides for week 3. Those should be updated on Teams. If you need a link to get to those, please let me know. I'd be happy to send that to you. Other than that, let's talk about logos a little bit. Let's go into detail and go from there. So this is going to help with your assignment. So logos, much like symbols and icons, they're need to be simple and easy to understand, and they also need to translate in size because the logo's got to look right on your Apple Watch or like a tablet or a phone, and it must look the exact same on like a gigantic billboard. They all got to be translatable and easily understood no matter where you see them at. They are overall a visual representation of the product, company, or experience. They're kind of tied to everything, much like how Target is considered the bullseye of where you want to find all the stuff that you want to buy, and also Nike's logo too. That's a Greek symbol for athleticism. Obviously, Nike deals with sporting equipment and sportwear for apparel. That's all Nike deals with a lot of times. So it definitely connects to their self that they're using the Greek symbol for athleticism because it ties into sports. So it has to be a visual representation of the product, company, or experience, and it directly correlates the experience. Now keep in mind, when you're building a logo, font style and format have to always be considered including cultural elements because, again, symbols are specific because they're specific to specific cultures, and so much like example, like the cross or like a country's flag or something, those symbols are tied to those cultures. A logo is a company, so when you're trying to sell to different cultures, you have to make sure that you don't offend anybody or don't make any waves or feel like you're miscommunicating something because you're selling to multiple different cultures and multiple different aspects. And this usually kind of deals with location and also activity and social, so that this is where this kind of ties into. But let's take a look at some logos and different types. So there's 7 real major types of logos. There's the abstract mark. The abstract mark is technically just kind of an abstract image, but it's reflected in a very popular brand or some type of product or experience. For example, Pepsi's abstract mark uses the USA colors of red, white, and blue and the circle. They've always used this, and it's kind of their own brand and watermark over time. Definitely has some symbolic elements to the company as well. I'm still kind of a little loose on that, but this mark has always been their logo ever since Pepsi was around. So, and it's very abstract and it's not direct. It doesn't really focus on what the corporation or the product really focuses on. So abstract marks tend to do that. They're very abstract. That you don't see a lot of things that are kind of tied to this, but there's a lot of hidden elements that go with this, and that's where a company uses abstract marks. Now there's also the mascot logos. These are straightforward. You have the company's mascot or the team's mascot or like the organization's mascot right in the front, showing it much like the KFC logo. You got the Colonel, right then and there. You know how it is. And they have KFC is tied to it. Now, there's also a combination mark, which kind of ties two or more types of logos together. We'll come back to this one in a second, but let's move on to the word mark. The word mark, which down here on the bottom right, this is Google, straightforward to the point. It's just the company's name, and that's pretty much it, or the organization's name or anything. Now note, when you're using a word mark, you got to use it with like a smaller name. You can't just have like a massive like 20-letter name try to be the logo. That would take up a lot of space. So that's why Google works really well, because it's just 6 letters, and that's pretty much it in those areas. So, or I think Microsoft has a word mark as well. At least they've had logos. It was just the word. There's a lot of things. Dell is just the logo. It's a word mark. It's got to be small and to the point. You can't have a big, massive word to be your word mark. So let's go back to the combination mark. So, for example, remember I told you there's 2 different types of logos or more in a combination mark? Well, this is the perfect one right here. It's a Burger King logo. So it's got the word mark right there, Burger King, right in the middle. But note how it's tied to the abstract mark, where it's kind of in the shape of a burger. You got the buns, and the meat is the words themselves. So they're using abstract techniques with word marks combined together to be a combination mark overall. So yeah, this Burger King's a good example of being a combo mark, because it uses 2 or more different types of logo techniques or visuals to make it their own. Now, we talked about the word mark, we talked about combination, mascot, and abstract, but what about the other 3? So we have the emblem logo. Now, emblem logos are very traditional. They're meant for like super governmental organizations or colleges or any type of like clubs or associations. This is where emblems kind of tied to it. Much like Harvard, Harvard's logo is very emblem-like, where it has the wreath and the shield and the 3 books that use the Latin word veritas on it, which stands for truth. And obviously Harvard's been one of the oldest schools, and it houses geniuses out of it. It's tied to truth and learning everything. So this is why this logo is used at Harvard, because it's very emblematic. Now there's 2 other logos. Now, much like the word mark, there's the letter mark. Now remember we told about how like big long names are not great for word marks, but you can abbreviate them and turn them into letter marks, much like the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or NASA, which is the National Association for Space Administration. That's perfect right there, but you don't want to say that out loud. You just kind of condense it and create it. It's just NASA. I don't know if anybody's a Marvel fan, but S.H.I.E.L.D., the group that Nick Fury runs, they're like the Strategic Homeland Intervention Environment Logistics Division. I don't forget what the E letter stands for, but I mean, you don't want to say that out loud in the name, so you just say S.H.I.E.L.D. That's a letter mark right there. That's a perfect example. And then finally, we have a pictorial mark. Pictorial mark is just an image of what the company's name is. For example, Apple. The black apple right here. It's meant for Apple computers and everything. But yeah, pictorial marks are simple. It's just an image of what the company's name is. That's pretty much it. Now, obviously, Apple has nothing to do with apples. They make computers. Very user-friendly computers. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So 7 types of logos, but each one have their own different styles and how they're built, and how the way they're built, they kind of tie into the symbolism of what the logo is and how each of the companies utilize it. So a lot of different things about it, but I hope this gives you an insight into logos and gives you a little bit of a head start. But other than that, that's all I got. Keep in mind you got your due dates this weekend. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, be safe, have fun, enjoy. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Take it easy. Hope everybody has a good Memorial weekend. And other than that, I'll see y'all later. All right, take it easy. Bye-bye.